Hi everyone, happy Saturday. So while I fix the last video I did about the tutorial where I just recording my audio with a YouTube video on the background, so I need to split the audio and fix this. I want to go through this shot and see how I worked, to achieve this, and this is what we have, and it's this shot now. So this is more or less how come, and there is some stuff we have to do. There is things on the material, compositing, put probably some saliva and everything, but it's probably fix some tracking issue more or less, but it's more or less it's fine. It's not bad. It's working pretty well. So let's see how I did this. So this is, you remember, this is the reference I'd use, and there was the hyena, really a typical walk. So where the hyena move two legs together, like the giraffe, like the camel, like the dromedary. So this was my blogging, okay, and we can see, and of course I adapt some of the stuff, like for example here we have this roll on the legs, right, and I did the same thing, but of course the anatomy of the legs, it's completely different. So I just, this was the first blogging, and from there I went on this, okay, where I have this. I don't know why this was material. So where I have this, right, and this was my final cycle. So if you see, it's probably gonna crash. So yeah, it's gonna crash. So we're gonna have everything here. So we're gonna reopen. So you see what I did, just use the same principle of the hyena to have this roll of the leg, and working on the tension and intention of the shot, even with a different anatomy. So here we got this. So I get this, I'm gonna put this as 100. So you see this, it's my blogging, and I can do a play blast, it's better. So we can see now the cycle with the reference. If you see, it's pretty, but I want to have also a lizard behavior, so it's why I keep the hips really low here, and I give, you know, this kind of up and down. You know, it's where it's something more lighter desk, and I keep the strike of the legs pretty, like here, right? Pretty wide, like the hyena. If you see the hyena, it's kind of hyperextend the legs, and it's more or less what I did, and here you see. So I keep the same tension and the same line of action of this animal. And here, for example, if you see, we have this and this. Of course, you know, this I can't do like this, because otherwise it was a lot of traveling. So I adapt, you know, following even the lengths of the arms, right? Because it's different from this. I did, but I keep, you see, always the same tension. This, and it's where it's interesting. It's here when, you know, you have this passage, and where there is this and this. So the thing is important when you do when you use a reference. It's overall try to understand how, you know, this thing work, how this thing work, and use the same line of action and tension of your reference in your shot. It's like, you know, when you have some gesture drawing, and you need to work on the line of action. It's like probably something like this, right? Something like this. So where you just working on your line of action, and, you know, it's the same you have on your reference. So it's why it's really important also to do gesture drawing, to understand, not for drawing, but, you know, to understand how work this kind of stuff when you go to see in a reference. This kind of reference is really atypical. It's not a reference you use, and, you know, get confused a lot of people in the beginning, because it's like we are used to see other kind of walk and reference, but it's why it was atypical I choose, because, you know, sometimes you need to break the cliche, and I think it was pretty successful how it did. So our result this. So now what I do, you know, I went there. What I did, I went there. I did a locomotion walk and on spot walk. So the on spot here, it's like an infinity with the offset, and it's like, you know, just do it with the contact of the legs, and save with the contact of the legs. I use both because normally I use the locomotion, right? But this, it's good if you have something on the spot, if you want just, you know, moving this. So I use this in a production. What I did is just, you know, do the locomotion, put in offset, and you have this with all the contact, everything is fine. And so the contact was already calculated on a traveling of your on the walk. So here I did the blocking, so I get the last blocking, right? And the blocking, I used the animation layer for build my for build my acting. If you see here, there is acting, there is secondary mechanic. So secondary mechanic is where you see when it's like block here, I have all this settled and everything, right? This was still a blocking, and I have this, it's the acting. So if I turn off the acting, I just have a basic cycle, but here I have all the acting, you know, it did with head, chest and everything, so everything was connected, and I give also, you know, some stuff on the shoulder, if you see here and here. So I just, you know, create this on top of the other, because it was like another was I have just my walk, right? And if you see this, if you get this, I have right. So if I go here and if I put this mute, you will see it's really stiff. It's kind of when it stop, it's really stiff. But if I turn on the boot, right? And after I want to have a gesture of the tongue, so I just working on the animation of the tongue. So everything, you know, behavior, like even click, even blink, sorry, and everything I do all apart, you know, to focus more on this animation and save on Studio Library. So again, I use my Studio Library to have this tongue thing, and I did the same with the breath and the blink. So I did 3 cycles to use in my shot: blink, breath and tongue, and I use the breath as constant cycle during the animation. After, I just, you know, put all together, and I begin to clean some of the tangent, and I begin to create subtle thing. I did another pass with the blend shape. So what I did, I just animate, because I want to have something on the throat, right? This thing here. So I just, you know, create some blend shape. Just, you know, I just pull up my geometry, and if I go on the negative space, I have this inflate, and I just move all the 3 blend shape all together, and on the graph editor I select the blend shape node, and I offset the 3 movement of 2 frames each other, and I have this nice effect. And I did, you know, all I did other things about legs and shoulder and everything, to have everything clean. I animated the tail, and I did some offset on the tail, but keep really steady, because it's a big lizard. I don't want this, right? I want to have something really steady. And after, I begin to work on my facial. So I work on the eyelid, I work on the eyebrow, I work, you know, all the other secondary movement and connection. And you see, I did no, it's not here. Okay, it's not there anymore here. So I did you see, facial pass. Yeah, because I moved I did the dragging and moved the rig anyway. I did a camera on the facial to just focus on the facial. So, and I did this. I did a plane, because I want this plane, you know, to have the shadow on Blender. So I can do like this background, and at the end the result was this. And if you see, when come here, it's like, it's really nice what you did with the throat, and everything working really well, breath working really well, you know. It's like I put some dart on the head, I put some pressure on the finger. I don't remember if I have already done the spline, but anyway, you see. there is some pressure on the finger she did, so it's like where you have, like, you know, the contact of the finger. There is a splay of the finger to get the right pressure, and at the end, right, this was my, no, Lulu, at the end this was, like, you know, my animation. Sorry, Lulu want to dominate me today. So we have this animation. If you see the blast, so it's pretty nice, and there is, you know, some intersection because I want to have the illusion of the legs go on the ground, right? Because here I have some grass, and I want to have this gonna go into the grass, right? I mean, it's like to have this kind, you know, of intersection effect, otherwise floating. This is something it's really important when you have a ground, you know, get a little bit of intersection, because you need to have, you know, the paw is gonna be down in the ground. It's not like at the same level, right? It's not like thick. It's not like this. It's not like this. It's like this. So there is an intersection. There is the pushing. You need to be a little bit on the ground. And if we see here, right, it's pretty nice and working pretty well. And I working a lot on this when I did the cycle on this, like, you know, elastic things of the tendon of the legs, like, because I want to have this explosion, like, you know, a really explosive strength. Need to be explosive, the strength of this animal. And after I just get all my I just get all my I do like this, but I isolate. So I just get everything this I exported in Alembic. Okay, camera, stuff of the background and everything in Alembic. I don't care about animation layer because it's not right now what I need, right? So it's like, you know, the animation layer for me it's fine right now because it's anyway I keep here. I don't collapse. If you have probably in some production you can collapse, you has to collapse, so do it. But, you know, for me this shot is personal. I will just keep everything here and I will just export the geometry. Same thing for the blend shape. Sometimes in some production I worked on the blend shape, so I modify stuff I needed, like for example the face or the throat. I put it on the tail, otherwise on the rig was not there. And you can see in the last video I will editing, and after I bring everything on Mesh 3D, and I go there, import Alembic, and get this creator ABC. So I bring my, now there is not a low gel, but it's fine. I gotta get this. So this is pretty simple, and I just, you know, put some cloth. So some cloth here, some cloth here, here, and here. I do really fast now. Here, and, you know, if I go to here and put 20,000, I have this. You see, it's beginning to be like cloth, so I can work on the intensity. I have some simulation, and after I did the same with the jiggle to have some jiggle of the fat, and after I work on the cloth here, so I just get a sculpt layer, I begin to simulate some of the cloth, like for example here, like for example I have here, for example here, see here. So you put another layer of realism on your shot without really overcomplicated the things with, you know, like muscle simulation and everything. It's really, if you see, it's pretty simple, pretty fast. It's an amazing. Yeah, for example, this was a little bit too much, so I just get, you know, a sculpt and sorry, I get a relax and I just working on the flatten thing. So you see, it's like or here for example you can relax. So here I'm gonna put 300. You see, if I put 300 it's too much, if I put 30. So this with a combination of intensity is gonna give you the right stuff, you know, if your geometry is broken, like here for example here. So you can see, right, it is really good to fix some geometry on the fly. See? And after I did the pass on Mesh 3D, I import again my geometry on Maya. I did the mesh smooth with 2, right? Because I want to have really detail, and I put this geometry on Blender. It's account 6 GB of geometry. And I begin to working on my material and light and everything, and so I need to still to work, but it is more or less it's how I build the shot. And after on After Effects I use this, for example, it's another layer, right, with roto brush, where I put this as in the front, and this of course, you know, the rendering of Blender. And after I put some audio together, but again I need to put some specular on the skin. I need probably to increase this a little bit more, and I think also I will put some saliva here, because it's really nice. We have this, it's pretty nice, but overall this, it's really nice to have some saliva here, even if it's far, but you know, everything is good. I will do another pass of probably on the camera, because it's a kind of, it's pretty good how is the tracking, but it's a bit shaking yet, and I want to have this really good, so probably will do another. You see there is some effect. So for example here the predator effect, I want to have this, you know, like a little bit less. So I want to have this at like probably minus 30, because now it's too much. And that's it. Now I will finish to work on this shot. I will try to do everything today, like, you know, new skin. I don't know about the saliva. Probably will get some days. I need to see if I never use Houdini, so I want to learn Houdini. I will try to do this in Houdini, or probably I will use another kind of tool maybe. Probably I will just animate geometry. I don't know. Anyway, I will do all this, and I will post the result on LinkedIn. So all this get not too many days. Probably get like, if I sum all the hours together, it's more or less 3 days, probably 4 days. But you see, it's pretty nice, and with a nice muscle simulation, this could be really, this moment when come here could be really nice to have a lot of jiggle and everything. But of course we don't have this privilege on this rig, so we'll keep everything really simple. Okay. So I will editing the last video. Thank you. I will begin another animation, of course, about creator, because it's where, I mean, I did a lot of feature animation. I love feature animation, but I think creator is more useful also for all the people are out there, even if the WebFix now are a kind of tragic moment. But you know, the work will come back. I mean, I'm still unemployed too, so I know what is this, and but we need just, you know, to hang on, and keep faith, keep the faith, you know, because probably in October or November, when all the strike will be finished, the work will come back. It's not about the strike. The fault is not of the people strike. The people strike is doing the right thing, and probably should strike too, as part of WebFix, right? Because if us as a WebFix industry, we're gonna strike, we're gonna begin, you know, to probably have a lot of right we haven't in the past, and probably, you know, all this layoff we have, because was not there, because there is million. I mean, it's ridiculous how the studio, you know, get a lot of money, but you know, when there is not project, just put the people at home. This system doesn't work. If we want to change the system, we should begin to think about a strike too. So it's not about the strike, it's about the industry. The industry doesn't work, and it's because there is the client doesn't work. The relationship with the client doesn't work. You know, we just are in the end of a bunch of people, not too much, a bunch of rich people, just, you know, control the market. So if we want to change the stuff, probably we should begin to think about a strike too. But it's not the place to talking about. So I hope this will be useful for you guys, and I will editing the last video, and I will put on YouTube probably between tomorrow and Monday. Okay, thank you, bye.